Ole Miss, and he got his medical doctor's degree. And he shared with me, he said, brother, he said, I'm going to make this be the sword of Allah. Like this. And, you know, I listened to him when he said, but it's even more fulfilling when you actually see it coming into view. Yes. We're looking at it. We're seeing it. And one of the greatest signs I saw was yesterday at Juma, where we had 14 young men. I'm talking about from 20 to maybe 35. And out of those, one stood and made his shahada. All right, that made my heart feel so happy and so glad. I want to bring Dr. Ali up, but I'm just who I am. I'm not polished and all that. I'm just who I am. You know what I'm saying? And I would be remiss if I didn't mention before I introduce my friend right here. Bring tears to my eyes. Imam Nasheed Salahuddin. Ever in my heart. Well, no further ado. This man from New Orleans, when we first started, wasn't down here but Lane. And you here today. They came from New Orleans. There wasn't a few of us, a handful, not as many on both of my hands. And they came and they walked. And we'll eternally be grateful to Allah, and we'll be grateful to them too. So with no further ado, we're going to put our leader. He's a doctor, he's a lawyer, he's a man, he's a husband, he's a brother. Dr. Rashad. If it's okay, guys, can I have a seat? Yes, I have a really presentation. Thank you so much, Brother Mayor Kim. And I'd like to make sure we acknowledge our Imam Thomas Reed. He's here with us too. And I would like to thank all of you who traveled here to Medinah for this 38th annual retreat. Sister Pickle, she's here. Sister Study Alice, and we give her some words to say. You know, sometimes ladies say to thank, but I'm pretty sure I'd like for her to make a presentation as well. So all of y'all who travel here to Medinah, and I know Imam Furqan and several other brothers have been here probably since the beginning of the day. I think Imam Furqan was saying that he hadn't missed a year. And I remember at home for the time that we worked there in the streets, he was still on the Zoom part. So I've been given a task here today to talk about Medinah. I guess from concept to reality. So I want to share a few historical points. There were some brothers who were really inspired, and I have to say my father-in-law, Abdul-Haqq. He grew up in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. And he told me during the time occurring atrocities that were occurring in Mississippi during that time. He was inspired to move out of Mississippi to maybe Chicago or Detroit. But he said he had an opportunity to meet with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And he told the Honorable Elijah Muhammad about his plight and his story. And Honorable Elijah Muhammad told him that he would like to make some ministers to go down in the Mississippi and clean that place up. And I think he said that Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave him a few more comments and even put him in his car and drove him home. You know, that story stuck to me. It stuck with me. And so, when I came on the scene in 1983, there were a group of brothers that had formed the Muslim Business Association here in Hattiesburg. And Brother Abdul-Haqq used his house in Hattiesburg. I remember the address, 1408 Cherry Street. And it became a location where many of the meetings that were had in that area inspired a lot. Many of the brothers who had become Muslims would come there and hold conversations. And I remember going there in 1983 because I met his daughter, who became my wife. And to this day, I think it's about 41 years. That's a long time. So I had the opportunity to really get into understanding the inspiration and the language that Imam Muhammad was speaking of at that time. So we went down to a place called Elijahville, Georgia. I think many of y'all might remember that. And we were inspired to see that we would have a town. There were over 5,000 acres, I believe, that were out there. We rode all over Elijahville looking and hoping that we could develop a city. So something happened, where Elijahville, the reality of that began to fade. The reality of Elijahville was not becoming a reality anymore. But we knew that we had 63 acres of land over here in Mississippi. And the idea of developing a community came about. So I was blessed to have was voted as the president of the Muslim Business Association. And around 1985, we began to put a plan together. But this plan was not just a plan just to build a community, just a community. It was 5 families, with little means. But the goal was to establish a community for the pleasure of Allah, the pleasure of God. It wasn't to build a city so that we could enjoy the riches of the world and to see all the sparkling lights and the glamour, all that. It wasn't that. It was simply to build a city for the pleasure of God. And so it began to dawn on us that if we built this city, there's no city in the United States that's built on the premise of the oneness of Allah. Not one that we know of, not in the United States, built on the premise of the oneness of Allah. And so we said if we could build this community, then it should be an environment that makes it easy to remember Allah. And that became the model. So with 63 acres of land, we knew that we could not, this was 63 acres of land, couldn't build a big city, but we had to have a starting point.
And so our goal was to see the community develop naturally. So let me show you the selflessness of the individuals who developed it. 5 families. We had 63 acres. So the first 13 acres, which is these acres up here, we donated that to the community and said, let that be for the people. If you call yourself a Muslim anywhere in these United States, you could come to New Medina and enjoy and be a part of something that you could call your own. And we took the rest of it, so we said 13 acres for the development of a mosque and a school. We knew that had to be the foundation. You develop the mosque and the school. So if we could do that, then this would not be owned by the organization. I think the trouble with Elijah there was that it was an organization. So if an organization owned it, if somebody came out and stepped in a hole and gets sued, the whole organization is tied up, the land is tied up, and everything becomes, expensive. So our goal, Imam Muhammad said, empower the individual. So we went back and we had the whole 63 surveyed and we had 50 individual acres left. And we said, well, why don't we take each acre and sell it to individuals? And if individuals could own the land, they could come back and form the community. And that's what we did. And the first group that came to our rescue or came to the aid of us was a group out of Boston, Massachusetts, under Imam Rashad Mahmoud. They came and they bought out 15 acres of land. And we were selling the acres of land for $2,100 an acre now. Remember, I was talking about the selflessness of the individuals, 5 families that started. They owned the land. Yes, they went back and bought an acre apiece just to be contributors with nothing in anticipation that we're going to get some out of it. There was no expectation that we would get money, that we would earn something, we would get none of that. So we had enough money at that time to pay off the entire 63 acres. And I always enjoyed Imam McHale when he said he went and took the money down to that white man, and he looked at him, y'all didn't need to do this. So in other words, he was not expecting us to be free.
Allahu Akbar.
Well, we were free at that time, and we put 3 acres of land up to develop a cemetery. And when the surveyors came out and we told them we were going to put 3 acres of land for cemetery, they said, well, y'all going to bury everybody in Marion County? They said, well, we just expect growth. And so that was the beginning of the New Medina piece. I have with me, and I'll be here tomorrow morning to talk at the Landowners Association meeting at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. I'm scheduled to be here to talk about the continuous development. But the idea, again, it was a concept, it was a vision, it was of New Medina, it was a vision, and we knew that we were a small group. But remember, everything in nature starts small. Imam said, think big, but don't be afraid to start small. So the beginning of this idea of New Medina, to put a name on it, we said, why New Medina? We said, if Medina Al-Manawwar was to bring the world out of the dark ages, what could a New Medina do for America? And we believe that if we establish the religion in these parts, some of the worst parts of the country, Mississippi, way down deep in Mississippi. Allah can do anything. Why not Mississippi? So here we have raised up the community. So again, you know, we are in striving, and you can see with your help, allowing this fire to come and touch your heart. We believe that Medinah will go naturally. And we have been on the road to that development. You can see, after we did the 50 acres, we cut the roads here. It was nothing but a wilderness. We cut the roads here, and we gave the roads to the county, so the county can keep them up. So we became the only cemetery, Islamic cemetery in the state of Mississippi. And many of the people who are buried out there are immigrants. So they found Medinah and they brought their loved ones here for the interment. So we are now on a road to, after we did that, we established a mosque. And Brother Imam Allen Ruiz became the Imam and the principal, and has been doing that work for quite some time. So inshallah, I will stop right there and open the floor up for questions, because a lot of what I want to talk about again is open tomorrow. I really wanted to have an interactive dialogue and not so much as a lecture today. And so that we could open the floor up for questions and just have some conversation about community life, concept to reality. How did it happen? You see it. I gave you a model as to that, but I want also to know that we intended to build a model. And as Mikhail talked, he was in New Orleans, and one of the first groups to come in, and they came in mass numbers to help us out. And they came to help build tents, to build booths, and all types of clear the land so that we could hold the first annual retreat. And that's where we are, 38 years later, doing retreats. So I'm going to open it up for questions. You know, sister.
Assalamu alaikum. It's okay to introduce, because I don't want to personal, but anyway, alhamdulillah. Wonderful to be here. I'm Martha Naila Abdullah of Community-Wide Shura Conference, the Executive Director, and American Muslim 360. We're present as well. I say that because in light of organized...
We have picky eaters in this generation. And you know how you pick over foods, say, oh, you do it by the way you look at it and say, oh, I don't think I want to try that. That is how they need to take that same skill of being a picky eater and be a picky person about what they allow to come into their minds, what kind of people that they allow to come into their space. Be just that picky about it, okay? And choose some of the friends / foods that are really good for you, that's going to nourish your mind and your spirit. I want to leave with that.
I love it. I love it. And for those young people, it starts early. I know when my son was younger, I would always tell him, everybody doesn't do everything, right? And I would give him an analogy, right? Does your teacher love you? Yes. Did she come to your birthday party? No. Do you love your teacher? Yes. Did you go to her birthday party?
When we first did the retreat, the idea of this retreat that we're having in the 38th year, the first retreat that we had, the idea was to bring together some of the very best minds that we had in our community. The most knowledgeable individuals in religion, we were bringing in the arts, the sciences. We wanted to bring this and let it be a focal point, this retreat, so that people can gather information from those with knowledge and take it back to where they were and empower them. Imagine that we should go way out from the cities, way out from the cities, and have meetings and conferences and get knowledge and go back to the cities with a position of strength. So we thought that was important. And so I think to answer your question, the answer should be yes. I think that this could be, give people the opportunity to come and get information and go back empowered. I think it should be. Yes. Now, I'm going to do the best that I can. Yes, sir. Hey, Rashad.
So, in terms of the city, what kind of ripple effect are you seeing in terms of this being an inspiration?
In the class with her sister to continue to learn. She was already doing it anyway, but she was off camera. I couldn't see her, right? And so then I began to include her in the reading exercise that we were doing. And then we had another example. Is we had a 5-year-old that we actually accepted at the I would have to say is an exceptional child.
Going out in the rural. Now let me do a sidebar right quick. Imam Plymouth Elamine out of Atlanta. He and I used to have conversations. And the conversations were, one, Atlanta was a thriving model. It was one of the models that we had for urban areas in terms of our community. And New Medina was a rural model, you know, for folks who were not inside the city limits. And so with this rural model, we have not necessarily had anybody to follow this model that I know of. I know that there are some, again, when I say organizations who've gone out and attempted to do communities, but they haven't used this particular model. And I know of a couple of them. Yes, ma'am. Okay.
The model of being a leader is a difficult.
The next categories from age 13 to 17. Those are 2 different age groups that we try to keep them separate. We had them all in the same classroom at one time. That was not working, so we split them up and gave them their own classroom, their own environment to work with. But I think what they've said is pretty much a lot of what's going on with our students. We do have some students that are engaged, and the more creative we are with our methods for teaching, the more we engage them, the more they want to be there. So I think in the beginning, in the early stages, we had more issues with whether or not the children actually wanted to be there. So, but we want them to be there, and we want them to want to be there. We don't want them to be forced to be there. And so we try to be creative in our lessons so that we can keep them interested and wanting them to want to be a part of what we're doing. But I think, the idea of social media and other things going on, like some kids, well, actually, as a matter of fact, just today, I would say that I've lost a student because the instructor's going to make sure that they go back and watch the videos, right? But the parents made a decision not to totally take them out, because they are going back watching the videos, but they enrolled him in a gardening class that's at the same time as his class, right? And so what they put the value more on him attending the gardening class than him continuing to be a part of his Islamic studies class. And so I think I just like that, just parents have to make a decision what is the most important, because there's a lot out there for our children. If they're in school, they're in sports, they're in different things, and all of this takes away from their interest for being there. But we're on Sundays, and most of the time they don't have things to do on Sundays, right? So hopefully that's the time they won't interfere with all the other things that they want to do or like to do. But I think both of them are pretty much hit on some of the same issues that we're dealing with on a virtual online school.
Yeah, it's a value system for sure, Sister Nadia. It's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while, so alhamdulillah.
I know.
It's good to share space with you.
Yes, ma'am.
On Thursday, we're having our end of the year closing, and the first part of the closing is for me to establish some things with our parents, to kind of close us out. And one of the gifts that we're giving our kids is a bag that says my mastered activity bag. And the piece that I'm going to be speaking to is the kinds of things you can do with and for your children without adding screen time and all of the characters. So part of our rules is there's no Spider-Man, there's no princess, there's none of that good stuff. Okay, it's a distraction for the children. takes away from the things that we're trying to establish. Children have a natural ability to have imagination, so they don't need fantasy. They can take reality and make it beautiful. And this world constantly feeds them that. But this parent generation don't understand what Imam Muhammad was teaching us at that time as to how important it is to stay away from those images and how they start to form and shape who you are. And so, I first started in kindergarten. Now I have my youngest was 8 months old. And I find that the world wants us to have quality child care for children as young as 1, 2 months, as soon as they get out of the womb. Two reasons. One, women are going back into the workforce and they're driving the workforce. Okay, that's number one. They're not going back home. And number two, they have to have quality. The government wants to have quality child care above what parents want, because the government is looking out for a quality workforce in the stores.
At least 3 opportunities on the way. And I guess the question becomes, what economically would we be looking to, I guess, prosper from? And if New Medinah became a destination site, where it became an educational institution, inspiring others through education and business development, I think those will be pieces that will really help launch. Because what they will allow us to do is to begin to see things, see certain developments. For instance, if we have a hotel in New Medinah, I believe that the people who come to the retreat will probably stay there. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
And they will come.
Right. So, but here's the qualifications for that. I believe that because we build a hotel, we have to be as competitive as anybody out there on the street. Anybody else that one of our hotels will be as good or better than any other hotel out there. One project that we just completed, we did a soft opening in July, and you can probably go back and see this. And it's really inspiration for some. It's the 98 one stop. I don't know, many of y'all have been over there.
Yes.
To see it. So we did a big deal with Sunoco Oil. And we asked for 25 locations. And the brother and myself and 3 or 4 other brothers, we went to the headquarters of Sunoco in Dallas. And we met with the C-suite. And it has been a wonderful working relationship with them. We have that location, but this is what we wanted to do with it. We wanted to start a movement. And this is what the movement should entail. Number one, the first thing we did in the remodel was that we took out the whole beer and alcohol cooler, and we converted that area into restrooms. And we wanted that to be some of the nicest restrooms on that whole Highway 98. And so the model was to take out alcohol. The second model, the second part of it, was to have no pork. There's no pork products. In other words, you can't see the pig on the countertop. It's not there. So I believe that should be a model for us. And maybe it could be something that we can help our fellow Muslims, immigrant Muslims, who come near their own convenience stores. And they put a light in our community. So it might be an inspiration. I just heard a brother tell me that in Hattiesburg, we now have another immigrant Muslim who has taken to this and he has decided to take all the alcohol out of his store. He got no problem with it. So I believe that we can institute a rule. So if we made it easy for immigrants to practice Islam in America, then maybe we can help them see that vision of taking all the poison out of the community that they serve. So that is one piece. So we have a second store that is to be coming online. But we also want to add services, such as oil change, tire rotations, things like that. So all of those things produce jobs. So in terms of what's happening in Medina, that's something. Now, we also, Brother McKellar, we were involved in a group called the Equus Street group. And we engaged some years ago with Family Dollar, the dollar stores. We built some locations where we have dollar store there in Hattiesburg, and it's really doing good. So economic development is where I think the mayor wanted us to go. So we won't look like beggars. At some point in time, we have to fix our muscles. And, so we're looking for that. Yes, sir.
You focus something that people don't want to talk about. And there's a need for at the cemetery. We have big Muslim populations in big cities that have no cemetery. And they have convinced existing cemetery to give them a
I guess like mine is the same. I'm working on that arrow with.
And I know it's very important that we have a 100%.
The kids are just different, and
In Atlanta,
behavior
we now have
wise,
four.
social wise, I
We
know
started off
they
with one.
actually.
Now, I didn't get the acreage here for that cemetery.
3 acres.
Okay. And I like that idea of taking deeds because all of these cemeteries in Atlanta are outgrown. We didn't believe it was over time. We don't sometimes 3 funerals.
We train our teachers.
Wow.
We all dying. We don't want to talk about it. And it's good to know that in New Medina that you got a cemetery here as part of community life. We think about community life, but we forget about we're going to die, we're going to be buried. Now, the question I have for you, since the time they established the Muslim cemetery, which was at that time the only Muslim cemetery in Mississippi, do we have any since that time now have their own cemetery? Are we still the only one in Mississippi?
No, there's a couple. I think there's one in and around Jackson, and maybe one up around Starkville. So I know of two. And I'm not saying the one in Jackson is completely Muslim. Not, but I know that up around Starkville, that's the people.
Do we have any estimation of how many Muslims buried?
We have, let me say this, we have a committee here. I think, brother, you the chairman of the committee, and he's the chairman of the Janaza committee here in the Medina. And, I don't know how many, do we have any count on?
We have right now, Doc, and don't hold me fast to it, but we have at least now about, I want to say 30, I take that back. We have at least 40, a little bit more than 40 burials right here. And let me just say that why you mentioned that, Doc, because very important. It's related to Imam Abdul-Haqq Muhammad, his brother, Elijah Muhammad II.
Yes, sir.
Is buried.
I told you, yes, in New Medina.
That's it.
Yes, sir.
That workshop.
Very good. So we are, we have not had any investors to come to New Medina yet. And we hope, inshallah, that you know, so, oh, let me tell you about a second project that we're working on here in New Medina. It's called the New Medina Nature Resort and Spa. We have 1 unit up, I think a brother that leased that unit, it's on Airbnb. You get it, it's on Airbnb. It's Register Street, you know, and it's set up to do about 4 units over there. It's 11 acres of land. And we have 1 unit up, the second unit should be coming off probably by the middle of next month. And we have 4 units set up. So, you know, probably timeshare or something like that, but it's over Airbnb and you can rent those units. So inshallah, when we come back next year, maybe you get an opportunity to spend, to get off into that. Now, attached to that nature resort is a wellness center. We've already built it. It's a 3,000 square foot wellness center on Way Road down the street. So again, when you come over here, don't think that this is just in the beginning, this little site back here. This was the beginning, it was the hub, but we far expanded far outside. We have almost a square mile of New Medina now. And inshallah, in about 2 years, by the 40th year, we hope that we will have a municipality and we will move toward New Medina 39482. Inshallah. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Assalamu
Amen.
Agriculture.
Yes, ma'am.
Agriculture, farming, and process.
Yes, there are some brothers right now. And I don't know, Ishmael might be a member of that. There's a group called the Marion County Self-Help Project. They call it Mix Show. Marion County Self-Help Organization. Brother Allen, you still remember that? Yes. Yeah, so they are farmers that get with farmers outside the community, and they do wonderful things. So yes, agriculture is a staple of what we're doing. Yes, sir.
I was blessed to visit the store. And I want everyone to know it's very impressive. Our people is unique, it's clean. And I told my wife that when we come to New Medina, that's when we're going to buy our gas. If every one of us fills up, we want to make sure you can never make it up. I'm recommending that I get the gas. We want to make sure you can go back.
What was the name of it?
98
one stop.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Uncle Randy, the restaurant is feeding on this weekend. Yes,
1647 Highway 98. 1648, 1674 Highway 98. Yes.
And I got a receipt this morning. I think it was a very special receipt. I'm looking at my phone around.
It's a long way far. 98 one stop.
Yes, sir. Okay. Yes, sir.
Dr. Ali, earlier this week, Press Support Media. Press Support Media is an organization that highlights what the Africans strong support. Today, yesterday, very exciting. The young man,
You want to get on the mic? Yeah, I think it's important what you're saying because there are a couple more things in addition to what Brother Mark asked. I think we should talk about. Yes, sir.
Once again, my name is Amy Shabazz, Press Sports Media. Yesterday was a very exciting day. Dr. Ali met some young men who was attractive. And you made a comment before that one young man took the Shahada. But there was a very special young man. His name was Snoop Carter, not Snoop Dogg, Snoop Carter. And he's
from Bay Springs, Mississippi, where he moved to Hattiesburg, Mississippi. And Snoop is now, Snoop was a running back for University of Mississippi, Ole Miss. That's why I went to school. And he was drafted with the Jacksonville Jaguars. And he was in the audience, at Juma yesterday, and now he plays with the Dallas Cowboys. So that's a Muslim brother, there's a lot of Muslim athletes. And Brother Imam, can you stand up? Brother Imam, that's it. Yes, sir. I was in a long conference with Imam Askia. Imam is from Atlanta. But his daughter, if y'all know, Sister Delilah Muhammad that runs track, that's his daughter right there. His good brother. And I was telling him about what Brother Lee and I are working on in the World Association of Muslim Athletes and Entertainers. And he's committed to bringing Sister Delilah to New Medina. And so, alhamdulillah, so we have a lot of athletes that are in there. So Brother Lee and I are also working with the Muslim Golf Association. And we intend to bring the first annual international Muslim golf tournament to New Medina. Yeah, so inshallah we have a brother. This is very interesting. There's a brother, about 10 miles away from here, 10 minutes drive away from here, who left the area and went to San Diego. He was in the military and, became a service disabled veteran, and he got into some big contracts. Anyway, he came back and he bought the golf course in Colombia. And the golf course used to be the golf course that Walter Payton used to shag golf balls. So in that, we have discussed the collaborative to do an annual international golf tournament. And we're in touch with the #1 golfer. Somehow we had conversations with him on the phone to do an international golf tournament to help raise funds for various charities in our community. So, inshallah, those are some pieces that are coming about. He was with President Sports Media, doing a lot of work with athletes all over the country. Brother Rashad is. We're in constant contact. So we're saying, many times we go to masajids and we want to see members in the community, and many of those, the youngest individuals in the community might be 70 years old. And we say, where are you? So we just feel like that's one way. It's not the only way, but that's one way that we can certainly, meet some of these youth where they are. It's athletics, and entertainment. So that's one way we're trying to approach it.
Got your presentation, so you know.
Okay, I'm about at the end of it, but I just wanted to share a few things with you. You can show me that monument. This is a very important picture. Can you show me the one before that one? Imam Muhammad, when he broke the grounds to New Medina, he said to me, Imam appeared me himself to give the Imam Muhammad, but he said to me, he asked, can I make this gesture to break the grounds to New Medina? And I asked him, well, certainly, but it took me 25 or 30 years almost to understand what he was really doing with the show. And so the first move was to go down, up and down with the show. You can see that. Now, show the other. Next picture. Can you show it? The next picture. Look at what he did. He went this way with the show. He went down and this way. See that? So, it took me to understand that. PCB me down, Sirota Mustaqim. That was it. And then we so I did not understand when you meant by that gesture. But that was a gesture. And so, that's it. That was a very important piece for us to understand that, what he was going through. Okay, inshallah, I thought it was important in terms of us to understand how real this project was of Imam Muhammad. And of course, Imam Al Sharif had private conversations with him other than the ones that I had. But if you move, I'm going to show you the monument. And the share with you, there is a meaning behind the new Medinah monument. That monument. This monument, there are 5 pillars, which is symbolic of the pillars, 5 pillars of Islam. We remember the people who accomplish that, you can reach the arch of victory. So that arch is symbolic of the arch of victory. And you can see 2 towering columns on each side. Those towering columns are symbolic of the DNA that are within us. And those towering columns are spiraling toward the heavens, as we call it. But the 2 globes on top are also symbolic. They're symbolic of the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet. So with the 5 pillars of Islam, the arch of victory, then with the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet, then that top should be symbolic of paradise. Then you can reach paradise. So inshallah, when you see that monument, it's not something that's standing out there without meaning. So that's what the meaning of the Medinah monument. That's what it's symbolic of. So inshallah, if you go to the last slide, I'll share with you what's necessary for us, the one that you started. Well, that's Imam Muhammad with us, but you can go to the very last slide. Well, look, I could probably talk to you all about some of that. Anyway, this is where we are. We're doing the Municipal Development Association. So, if you can go to the next slide, I'm going to tell you what it is that we have to accomplish. It all has to be covered. Let me give a list. Okay, go back before that. Okay. Anyway. Okay, let me go back before that. Look before. Go before. Over to the right. Okay, right. Okay, anyway, I can share with you a few other things. We're working on senior living in Medinah. There's very good plans to Brother Yasin and myself and a whole networking team of people. We're working on senior living in Medinah. And we're working on some grants. And inshallah, we know that the population is becoming older, and many people want to get away into, live in this type of atmosphere. So next one, these are a few things that are going on quietly in the Medinah. Brother Ross, you asked that question. Next slide. The many self-help organizations. I would say that Brother Adam and maybe Brother Sabir and all of them, they perfected a chicken that we raised here called Passion Poultry. And they raised those chickens for years and years. So that's a lot of bottom here for those chickens. And so we intend to get that to produce it. The premium allows okay, next one. This is what they were doing. They put those chickens in a cooler for about 6 weeks. And at 6 weeks, put them on the ground and keep them like that for several weeks. Remove those pins, distance of the pin every day until they become ready for production. And I'll tell you, those are some of the best eating, those are steroid-free, chemical-free type birds. Inside of that model, actually, there's a whole economy in this. So for somebody who asked about agriculture, that's a model that we have in place in the use. Next slide. We have, with the holiday, we have 65 acres of land north here. And we were out that day, land and hot, had land in 2 weeks. And we were trying to figure out why we getting stuck in the mud. And we looked down and saw water coming up from the ground. So we made and put a well in it. And we get water, I'm not moving water, producing water for really good spring water. And so we had an engineer to come out and test it. And we're now looking at the EPA and trying to meet all of the regulations so that we will be able to put water in the water just like that, instead of on the table. So inshallah, that's one of the next projects that we have coming up. Next one. And this is the guy that I have to look at when we did. I think the next slide has something. Okay, that's it. But anyway, get back there, the water park out there north of here. There's 65 acres of land out there that we're ready to for more development to next step. I talked about the next slide. We have a sister here who's going to be coming out and work on that. Sister Lena, who's the principal of the school out of Chicago. She has to work on that. And we get a connection with all this power. Okay. That's right there. That's it. That's the 3,000 square foot building that we have for a wellness center. And certainly, you know, when you go to the resort, you know to come back and get pampered and get relaxation and learn from the rain, fresh fruit, juices, what about when you come over here. So this time when we come back next year, you can play a part. But we want to have it such that you don't have to wait till the retreat. You can come year round to come and be a part. Okay, but it's good. Next slide. Okay, in status of the community, we have to have 1 square mile land. We have to have 6 main roads that are laid and paved in order to become a municipality in Mississippi. There are some requirements that say you have to have 300 people. Well, the alternative is to have 6 main roads and 1 square mile territory. And when we did the Google Suit, we meet the criteria. Next slide. So we're working on a little bit of the municipal development association. We're going to talk a little bit more about that tomorrow. Inshallah, we'll be here at 8 o'clock for the main room's meeting to talk about that. Next one. I think that's it. And I just want to open the floor. Any more questions that you have? We're going to take about 10 minutes over that. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
On that wellness center, do you have a projected opening date at this point? Or what?
Not yet, but inshallah, it won't take me very long. You know, we'll be working on it. I thought it would have been open this year, but I tell you, I'm engaged in building a brand new clinic in Laurel, Mississippi. Big, but it's an OBGYN clinic. It's a brand new, 6,500 square feet. Yeah, I wish I had a picture to show you there. Inshallah, you get a chance to see it tomorrow. So this will be coming next.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, last question. Again, with continuing
It was laid in the ground, and that is the seed that no one sees that takes root, and it begins to sprout and pushes its way through the earth and becomes this shining flower by the time they walk across that stage. But I do want to take this opportunity to lend voice to the power and the importance of those seeds. So thank you again.
Thank you. Principal Nia Jackson.
Assalamualaikum, Sister Nia Jackson from Clara Muhammad School of Miami. Our foundation is
very close. It's very close to July. July, a month away, 2 months away from opening up a radio station here. He'll be communicating with Mark, Brother Mark, and it'll be really something like 360. Yeah, so we'll have an individual component.
Just some character.
Yes. So, yes, ma'am. So again, I want to make you aware of a couple of other things. That we have been engaged with the Department of Energy. And right here is working with me, and we're working on an energy conference. It's a renewable energy conference, July 18th and 19th at the Convention Center in Hattiesburg. And I'm encouraging Muslims to be a part of that, because I think it's somewhere, there's a lot of money out there, and I think we need to take advantage of those opportunities in the energy space. So we have people from the Department of Energy, there were people from the Department of Labor, there was the EPA, and all of these folks have got money, and I just think that we deserve the right to be a part of that. So we've been working on this project for over a year. And so inshallah, July 18th and 19th, the Renewable Energy Conference. And you can see it if you have it, renewableenergyconference.com. Renewableenergyconference.com. You can get them on the website and see, that conference. But it's all attached to Medinah. So we're reaching out in other ways to try to see if we can engage individuals. So I want you to be a part of that as well. Yes, ma'am. Now, every time I see somebody walk through that door, I think about something. So, something hits my mind. So that energy conference is quite important. Also, we have an economic summit that's coming up in October. And we call it the Economic Roundtable in October. So again, if people are interested in economic development, some type of investment, you don't necessarily, you can invest in various things, whatever it is that you want to do. But I think that our development of jobs and that type of thing is quite important for us. And we can see this as a destination site. And tourism is quite important. So there's a lot of money to be made in tourism. And so I'm very thankful, really, for all of you all who have come to me here over the years, because I think that's what makes it happen as well. Coming to be a part of it and sharing in your earnings to be a part of it. So I'll be, yes ma'am. Oh, really good. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I went through it, but if, for the sake of those who did not get it, I'll go through it again. And it was just not, the meaning of it was called the meaning of the meaning of the monument. We said that if Muslims went away, that monument stayed, somebody should know that Muslims were one here. So, the meaning of the monument is when you look at it out there are 5 pillars under the bottom. And we say that if you accomplish those 5 pillars, then you should be, there's an ark of victory. The 5 pillars accomplish that to achieve the ark of victory. And the 2 iron columns on the outside are symbolic of our DNA. Spiraling towards the heavens, and inside of that, at the top, the globes are 2 symbolic. They're symbolic one of the Quran, and the second one is symbolic of the Sunnah of the Prophet. So with those items you want to go through, you should achieve paradise. That's at the top. Paul represents. So that's the meaning of the individual monument. So when you get, I encourage you to get a t-shirt or get something to take away from here and say that you've been a real deal. And then at some point there, maybe we'll have some letters, that you can come and buy and take home. Just like when you go to Hawaii, you buy from Hawaii, you buy those things, you can take something away that's symbolic of real deal. But, one of the things that I think that we as African Americans, indigenous Muslims, we have to know that we live here. And we shouldn't. I feel pretty bad when I know that somebody that came here from Turkey 15 years ago, they got big monuments and big things that are standing up tall. And we've been all this time and we're not. So I think we should be proud of the fact that whenever we get a mosque that's coming up built by our hands, we get a city that's built with our hands. Nobody can say that they came in. We don't have any Arab money. There's no money from the Middle East over here. And they don't want to do it, but they haven't given us any money. Probably because we haven't accepted students that might be attached to. If they So anyway, I think that we're very happy and we're very thankful for you all who come and visit us in Medinah on these retreats. But we'll let you know that there'll be more things going on, and if you have things going on that can be important, we'd love to include some of that. So alhamdulillah. Thank you, Sister Aisha. Let me say, I do sit on the board of directors for the Muslim Journal, and it's been a very wonderful task in being a part of that. And Sister Aisha, is a board member emeritus, and she's done a lot of work over the years, and I think she's been asking us for years to do something to help. So one of the things that I felt like we could do here is to start that annual golf tournament and make them one of the beneficiaries along with Medinah of that international golf tournament. So, Brother Shabazz, we talked Okay. All right, but that's one component that we've added to the Medinah retreat. You know, there'll be some horses, I tell you about it. Brother Allen, will there be horses out here today?
Horses? You're here.
Oh, okay. Some people want to ride the horse. Okay, wait.
We got.
So maybe next year we have the go-karts back. You know, those who were in the four-wheelers and the go-karts, they'll be back here. So it's well, very good. Okay. If nothing else, yes, sir. Brother Spear.
Takbir! Allahu Akbar! Takbir! Allahu Akbar! Takbir! Allahu Akbar! It's exciting to hear about the future of Medinah, alhamdulillah, such visionary leadership, and from such amazing support like people like you. So for both of those things, we're able to make that happen. You always hear the same times. I remember you was this big. I was out here across from Mahmoud's, in that field across from Mahmoud's by Wallace Loud, 6 years old, with a contingent from Dayton, Ohio at the time. This was before, alhamdulillah, before my dad and my mom, the late Sister Rosa Street got married. So before we got married, I came out here with a whole bunch of us on go-karts and everything else, having a good time, getting hot. But alhamdulillah, shukran, thank you, Dr. Ali, and everyone. Thank you for your support and for participating. We want to stay on time and everything. Alhamdulillah, shukran for y'all being here. We believe the food is ready, lunch is ready. I believe, so let's break for lunch. We also have Salat coming up. Please check your schedules. We've got afternoon events, including youth events, youth and adult sports events. We've got horseback riding, we've got swimming. I think tours are today, or that's tomorrow. I think tours are tomorrow. So we have a lot of this on the schedule. Thank you for supporting Medinah. As Dr. Ali said, please, support. We're on support the vendors. Get something from the souvenir shop. Lunch is ready. Alhamdulillah. Thank y'all for supporting us. Takbir! Takbir! Takbir!
MashaAllah. So in terms of that, do you have tickets for, make sure we have tickets for lunch. Just hold on 1 second. Alright, so mashallah. So lunch tickets, they were not included in the registration. The registration included flight event, Saturday event. Lunch tickets are $15. They're not part of any one of the registrations. I will work with the registry here, or we can set it up that you can pay. If you come to use a QR code and pay, I'll take care of everything. Use your phone to be able to pay for it. What we're going to do for lunch before we okay, we're going to pay for it. Randy, are y'all set up? Y'all going to pay here? If not, I'll set up.
Okay, so we got registration folks, and we'll set up right here at this table, we're coming over here now. The ticket payments right here at the gold table at the front door. And I'm going to do a QR code that will broadcast on the screen. Sorry for the delay, we had that. So much love. We have staff that coming up here to do the tape. Which